Hey everyone. Okay, this is just gonna be the last video of 2018, and just a quick once over of my current fleet of tractors that I have, the ones I primarily use, and the plans for a few of them. First off, this is my primary work tractor. As you can see, it's got a snow blade on the front. I have used it a few times. We haven't got any significant snow yet, but really I'm just practicing with this, testing out the winch system and the transmission. I've had the studded tires on it a few times. I've since taken them off since we lost all the snow. But overall, this machine, since I did the engine and transmission swap, has been working very well. I've only had one issue. The controller that came with the winch has quit working. This is the button from it. The controller itself is in the garage. All it really does is click. You can hear the little solenoid in there clicking, but it does not operate, unfortunately. So luckily I had this one right here. This is from an old winch I had many years ago, and it works fine. So really, with the snow that we've been getting, I've just been practicing my technique on the driveway. I haven't really used it back here much, but on the driveway it actually seems to work pretty good. Now this is what I call S4. It's shed number 4, and I'm currently storing the Husqvarna and the Ford YT18. I don't know why I'm thinking LT. Craftsman's are LT, but anyways, the Ford YT18. The Husqvarna, sorry, I may have called it a Craftsman, but the Husqvarna, nothing's changed on the machine. It's really difficult to get this machine running in the cold. It's a Kohler Magnum 18, I believe, in there. And they don't like the cold, unfortunately. So that's why it's parked. That's why I did not put the snowplow on the Husqvarna, is primarily because of the engine. I'm considering a diesel swap again, and if I end up doing a diesel swap, it might end up getting the plow. But if I cannot find an engine that will work for what I want to do, I might end up selling the machine. But I have done some customizations, like turn signals. I got the brake lights, emergency lights, all that sort of stuff put on this machine. I also have the 2 ammo boxes, which actually worked out very well. So I don't really want to part with it, but if I have to in the long run, I will. Also, it does have a trailer hookup as well. Sitting next to it is my 5 kW Onan generator. It's the only one it's the only one I have currently out of an RV. My RV has a 5 or 6 kW in it as well. But I've been procrastinating, saying to myself, I'm going to get this thing running, I'm going to get this thing running. I have a fuel tank for it. It's sitting by S2. And I also have a fuel tank for my little Generac generator. I'm thinking that's what the problem is with that generator. So this one here, we're building a fuel tank mount for above the generator portion of the unit, away from the exhaust. And it should work, use a gravity system. And if I end up finding an appropriate fuel cell for down in there that will fit, I will switch it over. But I don't really want to run a fuel pump, because with this particular engine, it floods really quickly with the fuel pump. Because I think those fuel pumps are more designed to be picking fuel up from in a large fuel tank. I also have the original fuel pump from the Craftsman Racer, the original electric. It kind of works, but it just wouldn't make enough fuel pressure for that particular engine. So I might end up using it to see if it works on here as well. We'll see in the long run. And now the Ford. This is where we're getting questionable on which tractors are staying, which tractors are going. The Ford might be going, I don't know yet, but it does need some work. I found a hole in the deck. It's nothing major. It's nothing really got to worry about. So I might get some epoxy and just fill that in, and maybe some blue paint. We'll see, but that's the only spot I found. It's on the front if you're facing the machine, the right, so it's not major, but it's still a hole. So I'd like to clean it up, get rid of the rust that's there, and get it taken care of. This machine also has a Kohler Magnum 18 in it, but this engine seems to run fairly decent in the cold. Completely different from the one in the Husqvarna. The one in the Husqvarna is a horizontal. This one's the vertical. So I don't know. This also, if this tractor does stay, eventually it will be getting a Briggs V twin put in. If anything ends up happening with this engine. Also, these engines, I don't know about these versions of them. The other Kohler Magnums, the the horizontals, I find are really hard on gas. I don't know about these verticals. I guess I'll wait and see. So this thing needs a wiring harness. Also, it needs fuel lines. Whenever I initially purchased it, the reason why I got it so cheap, it was advertised with new fuel lines, but he used the wrong type. He used these see-through lines here, and as you can see, it's very hard. So I'm thinking that they're not fuel grade lines, so that definitely needs to be taken care of. So the charging system works on this machine. Everything works on this machine except for the headlights, and the ignition switch is funky. I'm thinking the reason with that is the safety switches. So he bypassed all the safety switches and put the push button on. And like I've said before, I hate push button starts, so that will definitely be repaired. The key switch, all the key switch does is actually turns the machine off. So that will definitely be changed out and definitely getting addressed. I have a couple extra Craftsman unmolested wiring harnesses kicking around, so most likely I will be modifying a Craftsman wiring harness to fit this machine, and that should actually work out pretty good. So far with everything I've showed in the fleet, besides the generator, everything runs. The Husqvarna runs when it wants to. If it's warm enough out, it will start and run. I know of other people who have the similar issues with those engines, so it's not just mine. The Ford will run. Also with the Ford, it might need a fuel pump. It's got this primer right here, so it loses prime really fast. So even when it's running, it will be running and it will lose fuel pressure. So I'm thinking it could be that because it has to suck through that little primer bulb, or it's because the fuel lines are incorrect and it's choking down by the tank. So once I fix the fuel lines, hopefully I get enough fuel pressure, but if not, this thing will also be getting an electric fuel pump. I guess while I'm out here, a quick look at my scrap hoard. Most likely I will not be pulling this wiring harness out of this Craftsman. I do have a few others that are already out of machines and that are pretty much ready to go. And behind it is the two little Murrays. Everything that you see right here is scrap besides the ladder. The ladder is not scrap. Okay, now this is S3, and here lies the Craftsman Racer. Runs and drives, but does have an oil leak still. I did find a leak. I did find a crack in the one valve cover. So unfortunately the valve cover is junk. I do have another one that doesn't have a crack where it counts, but I gotta get some RTV sealant and reseal it, clean the surface of the head first. So hopefully once I do that, this thing will be able to be ran and driven more frequently, and it won't have any more leaks, and it should be good to go. That's why it's still up on jack stand, because of the oil leak. I'm trying to keep all the oil in the back of the engine. And here is some of my tire hoard. These are all my good tires that I'm saving. That's why they're in here. I did have a few in S4, but I've since moved them to here. There's enough room for the tractor and my tires. These are the studded ones. These are 20 by 8s. I built these tires a few years back when I still had the Craftsman truck. They work beautifully. That's all I can say about these tires. They will be going back on the plow eventually. Personally, I don't like running chains unless I absolutely need them. I do have tire chains handy. Until I need them, I'll be using these tires. I do have another set of studded tires. They are 20 by 10s. Yeah, these ones are 20 by 8. The other ones are 20 by 10s. I will be getting them back from the where the RV is eventually. Well, last time when we came back, we just didn't have enough room to put them in the vehicle. So that's what's going on in S3. Okay, I don't think I've showed in here much. This is S2. This is basically just run over that can't fit in, or that I don't want to have in the either tent shed or the main shop part of the shed. But this is S2. As you can see, there's my stoplight. There is a generator right there, that Honda generator. That actually runs. It does have output, but it's missing a lot of parts. It's really just a parts unit. I had found the parts for it, but they were all the way in Nova Scotia. The guy was willing to send them, but we never really got together on a price. And I think I needed too much. He's kind of got put off about how much stuff I actually needed. So if I could still find a parts unit for this generator, it'd actually be a halfway decent one to fix. But anyways, in here, got some extra transaxles, got wheel weights right there. Really, it's just general storage. This shed will be changing. It's going to be actually made bigger. It's going to be taking over the space where S3 is. Sorry about that, ran out of memory. This will be the actual workspace for my new shop once it gets done. Okay, almost done. The John Deere LA 175. Really one of the best free tractors I've gotten because of what's under the hood. It's got the big 26 horse Briggs V-twin. It came with a good battery. It's got a 54-inch deck on it, I do believe. This machine starts, runs, drives, cuts. It's just an ugly duckling, unfortunately. I'm not doing anything with the paint. All I got left to do on this machine is an oil change. I should change the air filter as well. And I'm going to post it online as an ugly duckling. I might paint the front bumper, but we'll see on that. I'm hoping to get in the high 900 range on this, 900 to $1,000 on this machine. That's what I'm hoping. 50-50 chance on actually getting that, but it's a functioning machine. It does what it needs to do. It's just ugly. Last but not least, a machine that was actually headed for the scrapyard, little Mastercraft MTD, whatever you want to call this machine. This is not the hood for it. The hood for it is by S3. This machine starts, runs, drives, cuts. I got a battery on order for it. I got a choke cable on order for it. That's all this machine needs to be functioning. It's got a 42-inch deck. So between this machine and the John Deere will most likely be sold, or we're going to be keeping the John Deere and selling the Ford. I don't really know yet at the moment, but the MTD definitely going to be sold. I originally got the MTD as a grass cutter. I was going to fix it and use it here as a grass cutter, but then I found the Ford for a really good price, so I got the Ford. So this machine, it's not the prettiest machine, but it functions. It will do everything you need it to do. All the safeties work on it. It should actually make someone a halfway decent little tractor. With the 42-inch deck, that's what everybody wants. They don't want 38 inches. They don't want anything smaller than 38 inch and down, really, in my area. They want the 42 and bigger. So this should make somebody a halfway decent little machine. It runs pretty good. I'm not going to start it up right now because I'd have to get a boost, and it's raining out. But like I said, this will make somebody a halfway decent machine. The seat's halfway decent. The hood's actually really nice on it. The body is pretty good on it. The deck is good. The spindles have a little bit of noise, but it's nothing major. It's nothing bad. It's got 4 good tires. So this will make somebody a good machine. So there we go. There's my entire fleet besides the snowblower. Actually, let's go over here for a minute. I guess the snowblower, nothing's changed on it. It's ready to go if we do get anything significant. I fixed the starter on it. That's all I've done to it for the season, really. There, I might as well step into S1 since it's raining out pretty good. I don't know if S1 leaks. Hopefully it doesn't. But here is the remainder of the Horde. The Generac generators over there. And all my tools. So I guess that's pretty much it. Hopefully everyone hung in there till the very end of the video. But that's my fleet. That's what I currently have going into 2019. I'll get some cold starts for you later on. They take a bit more time, so I didn't really want to put them into this video. But that's it. I do have some temporary lights in here, but really there's no point plugging them in since I'm heading back in the house anyways. So I'll talk to them later. Please keep redneck like always, and please subscribe, comment. Have a happy new year. Be safe. Don't drink too much. Don't do too many drugs. And don't get your antler cut in your steering wheel. Bye for now.